Hola mi gente, welcome to MSP Unplugged. I am your host, Paco LeBron. This is the place to learn how to run your MSP. Whether you're a nimble MSP or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. Rick Smith over at Renactus Technology. Rick, how the heck are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, my friend. Day 2 here at PAX 8 Beyond in Denver. Having a great time. Super excited about today's show and our guests.
Awesome. And I'm super excited for our guest today. To my right, my good friend, Nancy Henriquez, head of U.S. Community over at SuperOps. Nancy, how are you today?
I'm great. Big day here at PAX 8 Beyond, so very excited with everything going on.
Awesome. And then, fresh off the stage, my brother from another mother, the Global Channel Chief, Juan Fernandez over at SuperOps as well. Juan, how are you today?
Good, everybody. How are you doing?
Oh, better than good, better than most, as I like to say. But as we have mentioned before in our previous episodes, we are live at PAX 8 at the Gaylord Convention Center at PAX 8 Beyond 2024. And hot news off the stage, as I mentioned before, SuperOps has mentioned quite a couple drops that they had today.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones that I've heard, and SuperOps is now the first inside of the PAX 8 marketplace, the first PSA and RMM to be purchased directly from the PAX 8 experience. I'd probably start with you, Juan, because you just came off the stage.
Yeah.
How big? I don't think people understand how big of that moment is for you being inside the PAX 8 marketplace. Because I think, one, being in the PAX 8 marketplace is a hard endeavor for a vendor to do so. Yeah. But also to have it be the first PSA and RMM, especially with the industry and so many vendors that are out there. Can you talk a little bit about how that is the experience and how the folks over at SuperOps are feeling about that announcement?
Yeah, and I just like you said, I just came off stage and, I've been waiting. I've known about this for a while. And so it's really been like eating at me to finally get it out and talk about it. And I don't know that everyone truly understands the impact that this particular moment is going to make for the industry. And, one of the things we talked about is like, okay, yeah, SuperOps is now the first ever RMM PSA to ever be offered inside of PAX 8. Now, that's a pretty big deal, right? Because there's a lot of competitors that are out there, and SuperOps is definitely one of the newer players in the game. But why? I think a lot of people are curious to like I've been doing business with all these other companies for all my life. Like, how come we could never buy it inside of PAX 8? And, we talked a lot about on the stage is changing the game. And a lot of our alignment at PAX 8 with SuperOps is that we legitimately are looking at things completely different in terms of MSP success, not individual brand value and success, where a lot of maybe other players are just trying to get you to buy from them and stay in their ecosystem. We are embracing change, and we're being part of that change and saying, hey, I don't have to be all things. I can be good at something. We hear this all the time in the industry, right? Be good at something, be a master of something, not a jack of all trades, right? And we know where we're really good, and so we're really good RMM PSA, and we decided to double click and say, hey, we're not going to build a marketplace. So yes, we may have products in there now, but we'll be transitioning, and PAX 8 will be our marketplace. And so that worked, and they needed an RMM PSA that was innovatively different. And I think the change for the industry is focus. Our focus is significantly on partner success. PAX 8's aligned. That's why a lot of people do business with them that way. That's why most of the MSPs that'll be watching this probably do business with PAX 8, is that they care. Yeah. So does SuperOps. And those two things aligned now can set waves into the industry and make a difference.
That's awesome. Now, Nancy, you are kind of the boots on the ground. You've been really integrating yourself with a lot of the communities in the MSP space. For those that are SuperOps partners and those other community members that are not SuperOps partners, having SuperOps now in the PAX 8 marketplace, do you find that there is now a shorter barrier for them to acquire or even look at SuperOps now that it is now inside the PAX 8 marketplace?
Oh, absolutely. I think, our CEO, Arvind, said it on stage where PAX 8 has been one of the most requested services or partners that all of our customers have asked for from the very beginning. And so bringing both collaborative companies together is going to be amazing. And so I'm definitely seeing how much more open people will be to adopting super ops, especially because of everything that we're doing within Pax8, and not just the tools aspects, but the partnership that we have with Academy, as well as with the peer groups, and some other things that we're going to be doing together. And so really inspiring the community to come together, whether you are Pax8 partner, super ops partner, or neither, and be able to not just learn on how to grow your business, but then also leverage the tools to be able to do that in a much faster and easier way.
That's awesome. Now, for disclaimer for all our audience, I am a Super Ops partner. Rick Smith over there is also a Super Ops partner. And so there was a really mention of, and so there was really mention of this full integration and this method of being able to really have everything that you need and help be successful, right? I think Matt, I forgot where I was, but Matt Lee over at Pax8, for those that don't know, Matt Lee, very influential figure in the industry, and he said something to me. He says, why are we all in business, and why do we help our clients, and what is the purpose of being an MSP? And everyone started throwing out like, oh, we're helped to mitigate risk, we're here to protect our clients. And he said, BS. He said, we are there to not only help our clients, but we are here to be profitable. We are here to be successful. And because if we're not profitable and successful, we can't help those that we are serving. And so this has been a concept that I think a lot of MSPs are missing. And the fact that we now have this ability of having a fully integrated solution with help from the Pax8 marketplace, from the Pax8 Academy. But I think there was something a little glossed over on that presentation on stage. And I thought I saw help desk on there as well. Not sure how much you can talk about that portion of it.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I think the MSP of tomorrow looks very different. A lot of us struggle with providing service and finding talent and upskilling our staff and finding new people. There's a lot of people that are not available, and this industry is moving super fast. So one of the great things about partnering with Pax8 is Pax8 plus Super Ops Help Desk, and fully synergized offering. And yes, that is something that is coming along with the Academy, as you mentioned, plus peer groups. And you mentioned the marketplace. Although we are in Pax8's marketplace for sale, one of the other things that's really important is we will ingest Pax8 marketplace into our RMM PSA so that you don't have to go anywhere else. You'll be able to transact. And with all those support structures, your business can look very different.
Yeah.
You can now see the autonomy to scale and improve your business and chart your path to success, right? And I have a feeling you're going to ask me the next one, which is the icing on the cake for today's announcement about Vision X. But that being said, all of this is architected based on all of the things that we know modern managed service providers are going to need. We look at all the issues and the trends and look at all the data points and say, here's where all the problems are. Why can't we just solve these?
Sure.
Together we can. And that's really what this is all about. And that's really what the impact of today's talk was, and the importance of this moment. And that's why I named it Change Day.
Yep. And that's why I was actually going to ask you a little bit more about that, because we've always been very, I've known you for many years, and we've always gone with this moniker of hashtag changemakers, and really trying to drive that home, and not being such a vanity title, but really having some meaning behind that. I think even down to like some of the early days of even 5 years ago, when we had a group of us all just talking and trying to figure out, how do we help do a lot of the things to disrupt what's happening right now. Because for those of who listen here, know I'm very outspoken on some of my views on how, there are a lot of figures that we all know and possibly well respect that speak opinion as fact. And it's a huge issue for me to really understand that there are multiple ways to do this thing, and there are ways to know how to do it. And we're in such a crowded space where it's hard to understand which information is valuable to follow. How important is being able to announce Change Day? And then I'll throw it over to, after you answer, Juan, for Nancy, on how is the community you've seen evolve from your time starting at Super Ops to now, the involvement and all the community efforts, such as the trade shows, the Super Summit, everything in between?
Well, and do you want me to talk about Vision X, or do you want to talk about Change Day?
I want to talk about Vision X.
Everyone wants to talk about it.
Everybody knows.
Rick's is like, I'm signed up, boy. Which one goes first?
I say let's go Change Day,
Yes,
and then we can lead off to that baby project there.
When I announced on stage today, June 11th, 2024, at Beyond being Change Day, the day that we changed the industry forever, that's a mark and a point of time that we need to pay attention to, because if you're never aimed at doing something different, if you're never actually don't have a goal to make a difference, and you aren't set up to change how you do things, you'll never get there. And I've said this a lot. You guys have heard me say this, build a process that gets you to that point. And today's that point for us. So that's why I named today Change Day, because it was the day that we had set out as a community and as an organization, as an industry, to do something, and it culminated today to completely something different. So I recognize it, and I put a pin in it. So today's, I'll commemorate and I'll celebrate it every year as social, and we will call it today MSP Change Day, June 11th. And I almost said July last time. I was like, dude, is there another Beyond coming? Should we get ready? I was like, no, it's actually June. So, and I think that that's the point where you have to say, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Right? Like hashtag change makers, like you have to think, how am I going to make a change? Everyone says, why are you still here, Juan? And I'm like, because I haven't fixed the problem.
Right.
I can't leave until the problem's fixed, because that's who I am as an engineer. If I can't fix the problem, then I'm going to leave saddened, and I'm always going to say, man, I wonder if I could have done that.
Sure.
As business owners, we have to think about how do we engineer that in our minds and put that pin and say, there's my moment right there, and I'm going to go get that. Even if I have to change the entire damn industry to do it.
Sure.
Right? And so that's why I did it. And but I'm super excited to celebrate it with everybody. But from a community perspective.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I have to reference back to our CEO, Arvind, talking about challenging the status quo, right? And so that's one of the reasons that I think you're here, I'm here, you're here, you're here. So as MSPs, we've had to look at where the industry was at. And part of that drive has always been the community to challenge the status quo and to keep pushing our industry forward. And so when you challenge the status quo, the next logical thing is change. And a lot of the times that's where you find the resistance.
Yeah, always.
But there's no other way for us to continue to innovate and move forward. And that's what we have to do as technologists and as builders. So what I've seen with the community is it's been a long time coming, and people have been wanting this change. And I'm so glad to be a part of it, and to at least, be able to see that change. And so for me, it's quite an honor to be included in that, and to see the MSPs that are wanting to not just embrace the change, but actually take the action and, run with it along with us in this journey. So I think it's a breath of fresh air for the community, for sure.
Now, one thing I do want to carry, and I know that Rick's ears perked up real nice when this was discussed, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it to him because I know he has questions about this.
Oh, here's other questions. Rick's coming in hot.
Juan, you mentioned that this was a project of yours, a vision of yours for many years.
Yeah.
And we actually had talked about this for quite some time prior to your time at Super Ops. And so to see not only it be live, but to actually be called the naming of what you had called it. And I heard the name of it for the first time. So much respect to Super Ops, to respecting your dream and that project of what you wanted to invest into the company to help other MSPs there. When I heard about it, I was like, whoa. And so when we actually saw it live, and I know when Rick saw it, I know he's got questions. So I'm gonna toss it over to you, Rick, to go ahead and ask questions on what I'm talking about, and on what I'm referring to is Project Vision X.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say this. And you guys always know, you hear me say this all the time. As MSPs, yes, we are here to make money, to make profit, but we're also here to service our customers. But we always want to do business with people we know, like, and trust. That is the people we spend our money with, and the people that spend money with us. So basically our vendors and our customers. And one of the things that I always advocate about is, if I can't get the support to help or feel like I'm important to that vendor, I don't care how great their product is, I'm not going to do business with them. So one of the things I love about, I've always loved about doing business, dealing with Super Ops first and foremost, is I've gotten the support. I can click that chat and I know I've got an answer coming. Now I'm even more excited. I see, now, again, I don't have all the details. I don't know.
I know. I didn't put them out there.
Too many questions that need to be asked today. But it seems to me, again, this is another tool just to help support our business. So just give us a little insight, what you can divulge as to how that will work and how that will benefit us in the community.
Yeah, and one of the things when we set out, obviously when I was looking and working with Super Ops, I said, I've always wanted to see everybody that is around me be successful. I embellish the moment. I love to see people happy about it. And I said, how do we architect this so where we could remove the pain so that even when I was building my first one, like I didn't know how to build a business. So like, how can I take that challenge away and stop the erosion of margin in investing in things that maybe don't ever get me there? It's just like advice. And industry advice that I get is trying to conform me, and I don't like to conform. I want to be unique. Can I not be unique? And I felt like that was shaping me to be something that I didn't like. And so Vision X is a output from that, is saying, okay, well, why can't we, with all the data that we have, chart everyone's path to success? Like, if I would like to be a $1 million MSP today, and I'm not, how the hell do I get there? And the more I ask people, they don't always have a clearly articulate plan, but we have the data inside of the RMN and PSPA. Like, I have my customer data, I have the ticket, the issues, I have everything that I need to make smart business decisions. And with that is what Vision X is your ability to chart your path to success in the future, whether it be through customer penetration, products, services, down to end user ticket utilization. If I have a technician that's taking too long on something, it's like, okay, well, that person maybe not be the best one for that ticket. Let's use the system to auto route to one that's more effective. Or if I need to upskill that person, let's give them run books or issues in ways that we can upskill them so that we can decrease their time to resolution over time. Or if it's something I should just be automating, like what's the best decision? I don't know. Well, our platform will be able to tell you that. So should you want to go from, let's say, 500,000 to $1 million, you can click a button and say, how do I get there? And it says, here's your journey. Here's the map. Here's your project. It can change the system to tailor to you and what you have available and the way you deliver, and it'll give you suggestions on how you do that. So that is what Vision X will become. This is the first time that anybody's actually done that in any platform of an RMM PSA of any kind or any software that's ever been available in this space. So I'm excited about it because now we can see our way to success. I literally can chart my course and say, I want to become this. And these are the people that I need. And here's the things that I need to do. And maybe that customer is not the right one for me because I'm never going to make 100,000 on that customer over time. I'm only going to make 25K. Right? So this definitely changes your ability to see success. And I be honest with you, I am just so proud to be at this moment to see this change in the industry happen.
Great. And then one of the things I'm excited about, and I hear you talking, and I know you and how you think. And
Yeah.
you're always very helpful. So I think about this. Normally we say, okay, I want to get from 500,000, to use your example, from $500,000 to $1 million. And the answer is, you ask a vendor, they say, buy my product and sell more, right? Or get 20,000, get 20 more customers at this price. But we don't take into account all the other things that factor into that, right? So, and I think this is where we're talking about transitioning or helping technicians who become business owners understand their numbers, understand their business, and where they need to go. And I think that's super important. And, you don't get that from many people. You don't get that output because everyone is really, hey, if you buy my product, this will ease your pain and help you get there. And it's not necessarily more about, these are the other things you have to consider. So that's why I'm really excited about it.
And again, it's all about focus, right? When you're focused on brand and sales, your talk track will be brand and sales, right? We know that, to your point. Like, it's just like, hey, buy this magic pill and you're going to take it. But the challenge with the magic pill is, and again, I see this as talking to MSPs is like, even telling them what to do and how to get there, I didn't like it because all I'm doing is issuing prescriptions for pain. It still hurts. You're just eventually going to get used to the fact that it hurts. And I didn't like that.
Right.
So why would I do that? Like, why can't I go back to the beginning, solve it so that the future never encounters it, right? And that's really what Vision X is allowing you to do, is take a good look at your business, questions you never knew you needed to ask. You never knew that technician that wasn't performing at whatever percent utilization, what's good for your business? Like, how do you want to chart your path? Like, what's important? Customer success, dial it up. Okay, now that changes. You want to dial up profitability, now that changes. The choose your adventure opportunity has never been available to us. And now it just gives you the autonomy to be that modern service provider, delivering new services in a number of ways. So now you can test and see and look and say, oh, well, look, and I said this on stage a couple of years ago, just because a vendor checks a box doesn't mean they put checks in your mailbox.
Exactly.
Right? And it was interesting. Everyone was like, dude, what? And I was like, that's the point. Like, I, as a business owner, always focused on profitability. I will say this now, everybody else, if that is what you want to do, you can do that, right? And that's really the beauty of it, is now we can actually architect our businesses. And I can't wait to see how you guys use it and hear all the feedback and help us tool this into the future.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it a couple of times here.
Yesterday, I was talking to an MSP here, and we were talking about how in healthcare now they have been able to actually map out the human genome,
Yep.
right, using AI. And so the way that that's going to help in medicine is being able to test medications and perfect medications based off of your actual genome and how certain medications interact with you and things like that. So when I think of Vision X, that's what I think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it will definitely help you be able to pinpoint what are those differences that you can make, that you can tweak in order to perfect what you need to give to your customer and to service your customer.
And that's where all of it has to come together, right? Because there's a lot of learning that's going to go on with this new Vision app. And like, I might need help from a community, like my peers, to like, hey guys, like, I'm doing this. Anyone else doing this? Like, it's different than you. I've chose this path, right? And then there's all the other side. Yeah, I've chosen this path. Now I need support and structures to align to get my team to that level. And that's where Pax8 Academy, Pax8 peer groups, or if I don't want a help desk anymore, and I see that this path is this way, I can sign up and get Pax8 help desk, right? So all of these things, and again, now aligning your stacks in a meaningful way inside of Marketplace and being able to look at the array of opportunities that are available to you, you can now paint with a broader brush. And we talk about this, allow technology and remove the problem from the customer so that they can operate their business. But that has not existed in our space
Yep.
at all. Now we're actually taking the same methodology and bringing it in-house, right? Now you can run your business better. First time. Like, every other time it's like turn more wrenches, and it's like, why am I absorbing all of this? Like, I'm making their business amazing and mine sucks. Like, I live and die in the ticket realm. Like, can I not? Right? So this is why it's so important. And I'm just really honored. And I can't wait to show you guys more and unveil more new special things with it, but it's a special day.
No, yeah, I'm super stoked to see what's to come. I'm curious to have Nancy back on from the U.S. community to see how they're hearing about this from today and moving forward. So super excited for what's to come over at SuperOps. I think for the short time that your team has been involved, it's really been growing, and having that ability to just show that SuperOps and a majority of the community cares. And I think that's going to be a great time in our industry to see that. So for those that are looking to know a little bit more about SuperOps is our platinum sponsor over at TechCon Unplugged. And if you have not heard from the many times on this podcast, TechCon Unplugged this year will be at the Hotel Arundel Preserve in the greater Washington, D.C. area. It is our annual gathering of IT business owners, and it is fast approaching. You can go ahead and get a weekend packed with resources to help your IT business thrive. Your ticket is going to go ahead and include 25 plus educational sessions with a pre-day exclusively from SuperOps, a super summit that's going to be happening on September 12th, right before our welcome reception. There's going to be 2 networking events and our after hours entertainment. With the ticket, all expo hall meals, the refreshments, happy hours. This is an inclusive ticket to you to not have to worry about once you're there. You're going to be treated like a part of the community, part of the clique. We know that oftentimes is a little bit intimidating for those attending a new conference or a new event. We encourage you to join because you will be welcomed with all open arms. You're going to get automatic entrances to a lot of the show raffles and giveaways. But I think the most important part about all this is you're going to walk away with the concrete action items to take your business to the next level. And what I was often made fun of yesterday is where the magic happens. So that's where we're going to go ahead and throw it off there. Juan, Nancy, really appreciate you coming on right after that announcement on here live at PAX 8 Beyond. If there are anyone who wants to get a hold of either of you or know a little bit more about Super Ops or just pick both of your brains and your perspectives, what's the best way for them to reach out? Go ahead.
Okay. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram for those that are on Instagram as well. And I've had partners hit me up on there as well. So literally just look for me, nancy.henriquez@superops.com as well. And yeah, I'm available.
I love it. Yeah, and same thing. I live on LinkedIn, so for anybody that wants to hook up, just send me a personal message. Can't wait to see you guys all at TechCon. We're gonna be doing our pre-day, so if you want to come see us in person and ask questions, and I know Rick's gonna be like banging on that door about Vision. If you guys want to get in on that, start finding out more about that, by all means, you guys reach out, juan@superops.com. And it's just an honor to be here. Thank you guys for continuing to do this. This is, I heard so many people say, hey, I heard you on this podcast, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. And thanks you guys for continuing to help move the community forward.
I appreciate it. Rick, any lasting words before we sign off?
Well, I'll just echo that I want to thank everyone, and I definitely want to thank you too for spending some time with us. I know it's a very busy day and a lot going on, so we do appreciate it. And to everyone out there, again, you will hear from me asking about Vision X, but also check out Super Ops. I think they're doing some great things. And again, guys, thanks a lot for being here today.
Thanks.
And I also want to make sure I thank you for tuning in. We're here every Tuesday, every week. Watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can be notified whenever an episode is available. We also go ahead, if you want to take us on the go, you can use any of the favorite podcatcher apps. We're on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and on Spotify as well. As we mentioned, if you are interested, head over to techconunplugged.com and get your tickets today. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on MSP Unplugged.